Hello, bit of time travel today. We're going to go back a couple of weeks into the workshop where I started thinking about how to fit the rear number plate, and then come back up to present. I'll show you my progress on that, and also talk a little bit about what's holding up progress. It's been a pretty disrupted week with -8 or even worse temperatures, meaning that the workshop wasn't a great place to be, and my 3D printer giving up the ghost. Which has rather disrupted plans for printing the light buckets and the rear number plates around mounts, etc. But anyway, I'll fill you in. So my idea for saving some fabrication time, take a chunk out of the old bumper. Is it the perfect shape? No. But bear in mind it's going to have to be set back into this anyway. It's got that nice sort of cowling around the number plate. Gives me something to work from, certainly, and a sort of starting point. I'll probably have to increase the curve here to fit it up against the inside of the bumper, and increase the curve here as well, and maybe bring these down a little bit. But I think it's not a bad idea as a starting point. Obviously you need to clean up. I can trim it back a lot further. But yeah, with that, and some of the charging points, I can start building a system to hide things behind here. So I'm thinking it probably folds down in order to access the charge points. So I'll need some hinges, some strips to mount on the back of here, with some hidden hinges that maybe protrude through, and then some sort of locking mechanism at the top. Has to be a very, very secure locking mechanism. I think you'd get in a lot of trouble with the police if this folded down while you're bombing down the motorway. So some sort of latch that goes through there and through here, and latches, maybe reusing the solenoid from the or some sort of pull mechanism from the what do I mean? From the fuel door. There we go. In the meantime, though, while I think about that and maybe start knocking something up in CAD, I'm going to cut another hole out. Sometimes you just got to be brave, haven't you? I think I'm going to cut out a recess for the number plate so I can start to mock that up as well. I sketched it out in chalk pen, kept the aperture fairly minimal for now, but yeah, I think time to get the grinder on it, and then we can really see what we're working with. The good news is I just checked checked all the sockets, checked the CHAdeMO, checked my Type 2, even though I'm probably not going to put that in, I'm going to save that for the second car. Just Type 1 and CHAdeMO I think for now. I can always do a Type 2 to Type 1 adapter if I want to charge when I'm out and about. This one's mostly going to charge off either my home charger or granny cable, so, but I'll have space for Type 2 if I want to put that in as well. So yeah, time to cut. There we go. Still got my mask on because it's a bit dusty. Not very even yet, but that can all be fixed. Yeah, and now we can offer this up and see what it looks like, if my glasses will stay on. I'm going to need 2 hands for this. It's nowhere near in the... Get this off. It's nowhere near in the right place, but it gives you a sense of what I'm going for. If I now offer the number plate up to it, or the number plate surround, it's just going to sit in there like that. A lot of shaping to do, A lot of filling to do. Still going to make the rear bracket for the number plate surround to hold the charging points. But yeah, I think that's going to look pretty cool. And I think actually that piece off the old BMW bumper is probably the right starting point. You can see, if you look at the curves, that actually it's not far off matching up. Albeit currently the number plate's at a funny angle, it needs straightening up. But yeah, I think that's going to work pretty well. Very pleased. So you can see down here that I brought home various parts, and this isn't all of them, to help me model the rear number plate and some other things as well. I need to model a mount for the boot lock that I've got just down there. But a couple of charging ports, a Type 1, a CHAdeMO, the number plate surround, and the piece I cut off the old Z3 boot, a little pull cable which might come in useful, and yeah, rubbish, ignore the rubbish, there's just rubbish everywhere right now. So I've modelled the number plates around here, this black thing. I've done a very loose model, it's just a block. And I've modelled the piece of the BMW bumper there. And then I've just stuck a plate behind them, which I haven't worked out how I'm going to attach yet. And onto that plate added the Type 1 and CHAdeMO ports. Then that's not their final location. But what it's given me is the offset that I need between this plate, probably just a piece of alley or something, and the back of the BMW bumper, so that the number plate can sit relatively flush there. I say relatively because you'll see in a second that my design for the hinge may lift it slightly proud. So I've modelled the mounting plate in slightly more detail. I've got the mounting holes there, and then I've started drawing up a hinge. So first of all, I've just drawn a hinge here, which is designed to screw through to the holes in the mounting plate, and leaves a few mounting pegs and spaces for other pieces that go on, notably a latch piece here. So this is designed with slight bevel so that it can slot into something, and the catch can come through here. That catch will be what I've called the pin, and if I rotate this you can see that the pin is designed to, I should stop at 0 degrees, stop there. Right, the pin hooks into the catch like that, and so when the catch moves up it should lock on here, and then I've got a mount for all that, which if we get rid of that for a second, we actually show the mount for the hinge. So this is the other side of the hinge, the latch comes in through it, I've checked the clearances there, the pin should close and lock, and then there is a pin mount, and there will be a pull cable through here and a spring between the two which should hold the pin closed unless there's a pull on the cable. And there'll be both a manual pull and a solenoid pull to release that, and there'll be one of these on each side. Obviously this mechanism will be replicated on both sides, so we've got a latch on both sides holding it up. This will be printed out of PETG with a fairly heavy infill, make it nice and solid, and these pieces will be recessed into the bumper arch. So these hinge bits will be visible at the bottom, but I'm kind of okay with that, because I want the whole thing to fold completely out of the way so that I've got as much space as possible for charging ports behind it. So yes, I started printing these, and then something went horribly wrong. So this is my 3D printer, a Creality CR10S Pro. And in some ways it's great, and in some ways it's awful. It's got a few modifications. This was a beta board for checking flow rate and trying to analyse any issues. I'm not currently using that. It's got a camera, so I can remotely monitor it through Home Assistant via Octoprint, and some LED lights attached, so that I don't have to put the main lights on. In order for the camera to work, I can just turn these RGB LEDs on, and they can go different colours to indicate when a print's finished, etc. I've had various things triggering when a print finishes, like a Chewbacca roar. Nothing running at the moment other than the lights and the camera. The big issue is I've had lots of trouble with thermal runaway on the bed. You can tell this bed's in pretty terrible condition. And that got worse and worse. Well, it didn't get worse and worse. It was really intermittent. Sometimes it would print for days without issue, and sometimes you wouldn't be able to get a single print off. And you can see that trying to print the light buckets, I've had multiple attempts and just got stuck at the same point. I've only just peeled the base of a light bucket off there. And yeah, so I took it all apart, and I'll show the photo. The solid state relay that drives the bed was hanging off, so I figured, okay, that's the problem. It's delaminated from its heatsink. It's probably not in great shape, so I'll put a new one on. I put a new one on, as you'll see from this second photo, and the bed promptly went up to 116 degrees and didn't hit a thermal runaway, which was, well, worrying to say the least. So I'm still trying to do some diagnosis on this, work out what's gone wrong. Probably have to take it apart again, which is a pain because it's about 93 screws to get the bottom plate off, and they're really awkward. They never want to go back in straight. So yeah, I can't 3D print, which means all my time scales for getting all the back end parts printed are completely out at the moment. In the new year, I have my eyes on a new 3D printer, a slightly more expensive one, that looks A, fast, and B, reliable. I'll give you a clue, it's British made, and if you follow me on Twitter at Book of the Future, you'll probably have seen me daydreaming about buying one. So that's it for this video. Very quick update on the rear bumper and my lack of progress, really. I'll do another little video about this space because, as you'll have seen in the background, it's an absolute pigsty. It's usually pretty messy, if I'm honest, but I'm in the middle of transforming it into the space that I want it to be, and want to have done. I'll be doing more filming down here, partly because it's not looking like I'm going to have a garage by the end of January, so still trying to work out some emergency plans for what to do with everything by then. But that'll do for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll probably try and get one more video out before Christmas, then have a little break for a couple of weeks, and start again in the new year. Catch you later. Bye-bye.